Can you talk about who's going to play on special teams besides obviously the kickers?
Besides the kickers and punters?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a few guys out there. I'm curious to see how they're going to do. There's a number of, I'm curious to see how Jonathan Jones is going to do. Hosley, he's a freshman. Is going to be out there, and then there's some older guys that like Anthony Morgan, who's hadn't been with us for a little while. Curious to see how he's going to perform as well, and those are just a few of the names off the top of my head. Anthony Swain hasn't played for us yet. He's going to get an opportunity to get out there. Chris Frost will be out there on one of the units. So there's some new guys that are stepping forward that I'm curious to see how they perform.
Prosh was kind of a special team standout at Illinois. Is he going to be playing some special teams too?
Prosh has got to block the ISO. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to put him out there, man. It's nice to finally have a fullback that can block a little ISO. So we're looking forward to using him offensively. I have him inserted in some special situations on teams. But he's not going to be an every down team guy, a guy that's going to play 3 or 4. He's going to be a guy that has a couple of specialty situations that he's going to go in for us, and that's really about it.
Well, the true freshmen besides the ones you mentioned?
Well, I don't know how much Ricardo Lewis will play. He's in our depth chart. We're still waiting to see if Ricky Parks can add something to this year. He's trying to develop as a tight end and learn what we're doing mentally from that position. And I'm just obviously Sammy Coates, he's not a true freshman, but he's a guy that's going to play some for us now on some teams. And that's really about it that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a number of guys that have the ability, but as we look at our numbers right now, we just got to kind of wait and see if we're going to end up using some of those guys down the road before I throw them out there on teams.
But Hosley and Jones will play.
Hosley and Jones will definitely play. Those are the two that are definitely going to play. Ricardo Lewis is definitely going to play at some point in time. I'm looking to give him an opportunity on a couple units to see exactly what he can and cannot do because he's an explosive player as well as Sammy Coates. I guess probably the biggest one that I'm probably the most anxious to see is probably JJ. He's the one that kind of jumps out at me every time, and then followed closely by Hosley.
The Ricky Parks, you going to take him from the road trip?
Of course, yeah, he's in our mix. We don't have that many tight ends, and he's a guy that has got to continue to learn and grow, and we'll see where he ends up as he develops over the course of the season.
Is he a guy that kind of could end up redshirt and could not?
Yeah, I don't think that decision has been made, one way or the other.
Right.
We're trying to see if he can. He's got the ability. Again, when you're playing in, our offense and doing some of the things that we're doing, it's whether or not he can grasp it. Physically, he's ready. But you got to learn how to take run game steps. He played quarterback. Come on now. He doesn't know any of that stuff. He's as clueless as Lutz was when I got him. But he's more physical than all the guys that I've gotten so far since I've been here. He's a very physical player, and if he can ever get his head in the right place and understanding that this is big time football, this is SEC football. I got to understand things at a higher level. Then he'll be a treat for us.
When you say more physical than anybody, you talking about at this point?
Yes, at this point, and yes, exactly right. At this point, when I first got him,
right.
Especially considering that he's never played in the box. So he is. Most of my guys, with the exception of Brandon, have all played outside of the box. And Brandon was physical in nature, on his own, but Brandon was not as physical as Ricky is. And Ricky's got a lot of the things that you look for in your guys. He just, doesn't have like most freshmen. He doesn't have the mental you know, capacity right now to absorb what we're trying to give him, you know, in all aspects, you know, controlling everything from his first to his second step to how wide his alignment needs to be on this and so forth and so on. So.
It sounds like Corey Graham was able to do more practice today than he has been coming back off an injury. Is he at a place right now where he could possibly play on special teams this Saturday?
Corey Grant is injured? I had no idea.
So he's just been doing special teams all throughout, right?
Of course. He's at every one of my meetings. I didn't know he had any type of injury.
Brandon Folk, how's he doing?
Brandon is doing very well. He has really developed, and you know, I've been very pleased with where he's at in his second year. You know, he's kind of like Rick. You know, to this point, you know, he's been probably the most developed guy that I've had in year two than any of the guys that I've had to this point in the run game phase of it. You know, now he's not the receiver that Lutz is, but he can catch the ball, and he's been very effective at that this camp. I've been very pleased with Brandon. He's really doing a nice job absorbing our offense. Filling in for Lutz, you know, if I want to give Lutz a breather, you know, and try to work to develop. And you know, he walked into this deal, in my mind, in a different position, on the depth chart, and finished up at a higher level. So I feel like he's had a really good camp, and I'm anxious to see where he goes from here, to see if he can carry it over to the football field on Saturday, or if he's going to go in the shell, you know, and I want to see him produce. And I have a lot of confidence in him. If I put a guy out there, I feel like he can get it done, and I feel like Brandon can get it done.